We're Dimension 10, and we have one product, and that's a collaboration platform using virtual reality technology. And what it does, it allows you to have virtual meetings in buildings that are yet to be built. And that is a good thing, because then you're able to identify mistakes, increase communication between the parties early on. So we've been working with VR for several years, more than 2014 when the company was founded. And what we see now is a big shift from people looking at VR as a gaming application to companies like yourself adding it to your value chain because you see the added value that VR brings.
Cool. So what we're really seeing is two opportunities emerging at the same time. Now on the top of the slide here, you can see some things that will be very normal to you and some things that may look a little bit different. So you have the first generation computer platform, which is the PC. Everyone here obviously has a smartphone. But the third part of this here, which we see as the opportunity, is the VR headset or the head-mounted display. And we see this matching really, really nicely into the property industry, because we're seeing that same shift coming through. Originally, we had these first-generation 2D drawings, moving into CAD design, and now, as an industry, moving towards this theme of the digital twin. And again, today, we're going to put some kind of context into what we see as a digital twin. But how does VR fit into all of this digital twin discussion? And we really believe that it's around experience. Now, when we go to an event, for example, we are there to experience it, to meet people, to see all of the stands, to hear the talks and all of these things. And this is the best way that we learn. So if you link together these first two opportunities around the computer platforms that we use, with the innovation around 3D modeling and digital twins in the industry, and layer it with an experience-led platform, we think that that's a real recipe for success there.
And yeah, as Mike said, we're going to take you on a journey from land acquisition to a digital twin. And how does VR fit in? And step one is the design phase. Every real estate development project starts in the same way. You have a piece of land or a building that you're going to renovate. And the challenge there, and how do you do that? You own the building and then you probably hire an architect to help you design the new building that you want to be built. And how does this work? Well, they design hopefully a 3D model these days, but then it's sent back and forward on mail. You have meetings, you point at the screen. And how does it really work? Well, you're seeing this 3D model on a 2D screen, like on a flat screen. With VR, you have one common platform that allows all the parts to experience the model, experience the design, and have a common understanding. So there are no misunderstandings and decisions can be made faster. And like one of our customers, based out of Norway, an architectural firm, Artec, they are using this from the beginning on every project they have with customers. Because what they see is that they get more accurate feedback faster, which is fantastic for a project like this.
So once we've moved through that kind of design phase, we're then into the approval process here. And all through this journey we want to take you on, we want to talk to you about how this model gains more and more data and becomes more and more insightful as we use it. Now, a lot of people in the room here will probably have seen a challenge like this around getting an approval process done, whether it's from a commercial perspective or even planning for a renovation that you're doing at home. Now, the knock-on effect of all this is very obvious. It's very costly for delays to happen. Whereas we're still explaining 3D assets in 2D, which leads to the miscommunication that Aleksander was talking about a little bit earlier. But there's also this theme of context, and this is where the 3D aspect really comes into it. When you can truly explain to someone and let them experience that project in 3D, you have a much, much better common understanding around it. Now, all of the research links this experience to better understanding. You remember 10 times more what you experience than something that you actually read or write. And we're seeing that the opportunity here with all of these new models coming to fruition is to actually have one platform to actually discuss and use these around. This leads, we see, to faster approval because of the less miscommunications there and faster approval processes. Now, we're actually running a couple of these cases out of Norway at the moment where we've joined local authorities with local architecture firms to really get this kick-started, because this is all a long process within the industry. So working with Oslo Kommune, they see this as kind of a win-win, because they're leveraging a new platform and technology like the industry is, with the new 3D information and data that's being built, to come to a common understanding and communication platform around it. And that's where the decision-making starts. And this is key with the digital twin, because this is what we want these models to become, and the platform to provide is a decision-making tool.
Cool. This is all? Yeah, perfect. So, and after the land is approved, you start constructing. And this is the phase of a project that takes most time, and it's the phase that's most expensive, and where most errors are done, and when the developers are not hands-on. The people that are hands-on are the entrepreneurs, the construction companies, and the advisors. And what you have here now, the 3D model is developing from that simple architectural model in the beginning through a more advanced model presented to local authorities into what's here known as a BIM model. The model of the construction site or the planned building has different layers with all the different professions put into it, like electricians, air, fire and safety. All these levels with information are on the 3D model. And what we see is that if all people engaging in actually constructing the building has access to this 3D model, BIM model, using VR, they get, as we're saying, a common understanding of what's going to be built, and there are less mistakes being made. Last evidence of this was just out in the news 1 week ago with AECOM in New Zealand. They're building a huge stadium, and they estimated to spend 3 to 4 years building the stadium from like land acquisition to actually have a functioning stadium. They did it in 2 years. Main reason, extensive use of virtual reality, visualization, and collaboration. Because less misunderstandings. So, and we're seeing those evidence builds up all over the world, from New Zealand to Norway, where we have another customer, OF Consult, 15,000 people company, and they are using it in the same way as well and experiencing the exact same thing, allowing all the people in the project to experience the model using VR. They find more mistakes early on, and it's easier to actually be virtually present when discussing solutions to that problems as well.
So this is the point where that we start adding live data into these models, and this is where we really see the true digital twin start to build from here. Now, one of the challenges around 3D content at the moment is it's very, very static. And to actually add the real-time information into those is becoming a little bit challenging, and connecting that ecosystem together. But to provide a truly holistic digital twin, we need to match all of these parts together. So we need the models, we need the data, the real-time information, and also the platform to actually be able to look at these and experience them on. So what we're seeing now is that a lot of the work on 3D models is starting to integrate with sensor technologies and using solutions like virtual reality to actually match these all together so that you come up with an almost as-built project from day one. And data really, really is king here. So one of the cool projects that we're working on at the moment is with a sensor technology company out of Norway, to be able to actually integrate information like, what is the temperature in this room? What is the number of times that this window or this door has been closed? To actually be able to take insights and make actions from that information, but from one place. And this is the benefit here. You don't actually have to be present in those buildings. You need to be able to experience them, to be able to walk around them, and also to be able to derive data from these as well. And this is really, really exciting. And this is where we see this culmination of all these technologies coming together and the true digital twin coming alive at this point.
And as you've seen in a pretty shortened process, this is how you go from land acquisition to a digital twin. The 3D model develops over time from like an overhead architecture model to a more detailed model that's presented to authorities, maybe with surrounding buildings as well. And then in the construction phase, adding on to the architect model, you have different layers from all the professions. And then after the building is ready constructed, you add on live sensor data to the 3D model, enabling a digital twin. And as you've also seen, VR is currently adding, and in the future will add a more central role for this. Because from the beginning to the end, experiencing the 3D model using VR adds value all the way. It reduces miscommunication, reduces errors being made when building, increase the communication between the parties, and translating that into numbers, you do less mistakes, spend less time, make more money.
So that about wraps it up for us today. Now we're at stand 3. We'd love for you to come and experience this for yourself. Because VR is one of those technologies that people talk about, but to truly understand it, you need to put a headset and really get to grips with what we're actually trying to provide here. So we'll be on stand 3. Please do come along and have a test of the software. But aside from that, thank you very, very much for listening today. And I wish you all a great rest of the PropTech event.